From the station that's on your side, breaking news.
Well, breaking news, Richmond County School System says they received a report that a shooting happened in the Southside community. Out of precaution, students at Jenkins White Elementary, Murphy Middle, and T.W. Josie High Schools were placed on lockdown. School safety and security officers are there during dismissal. But first, Aiken County firefighters are battling a brush fire. Crews from multiple agencies were sent out around 12:40 to a report of a multiple acre fire just east of Trenton. The flames were about 15 acres wide, and now crews are dealing with hot spots. They also battled brush fires Tuesday afternoon in the Monetta area. On Monday at around 10 p.m., firefighters in Columbia County responded to Columbia Place Plaza in reference to a structure fire. The Fresco Cafe, which opened a year ago, was a complete loss after the fire. Now the owners are looking for the community to come together to help them get a fresh start. If you don't know much about the Fresco Cafe, the owners got their start with a food truck where they would serve the homeless shelters in our community and our military community as well. They decided to go all in on this storefront selling Mexican desserts and pastries. Employees are now out of a job, and the owners are looking to get back on their feet.
Yeah, that's difficult. That's really difficult when your employees are now struggling because they have nowhere to work. It's just something we have to get over and not let it get us down. So we have to find a way around it.
The owners say they're looking for someone with a kitchen so at least they can continue to serve food out of their truck for the time being. Coming up on News 12 at 6, we see how that community is chipping in to help them out. Well, icy weather and snow are covering parts of the United States, which makes for dangerous driving conditions. Hundreds of car crashes have been reported. Drivers are being urged to stay home if possible, and if they do have to head out, to drive slowly. Now, snow is expected to continue into tonight, and after last year's catastrophic winter weather shutdown, the Texas power grid, all eyes are on how the state will fare this year.
We are dealing with one of the most significant icing events that we've had in the state of Texas in at least several decades. It shows that there is plenty of power available at this time, as well as plenty of power expected over the remainder of today and early tomorrow.
Well, you said to put it into context for how much electricity they have, it's enough to supply another 2 million homes. But we're seeing nothing like that here at home. Taking a live look over down. Thanks, Anthony. First at 4, Richmond County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help finding a man wanted for aggravated battery. Deputies say that 37-year-old Sam Christian attacked a 72-year-old man. The older man had a ruptured nasal cavity and had fractured his skull and caused a brain bleed. They say it all happened January 22nd at Cruz's Bar and Grill off of Tobacco Road. Richmond County deputies say they're investigating a homicide that happened early this morning. They found 48-year-old Nancy Phillips dead in her home at Londonderry Lane off of Pleasant Home Road. She was pronounced dead around 3:30 this morning. We're told an autopsy is scheduled for this week. Well, today our I-team got this copy of a brand new lawsuit filed in Richmond County involving Sheriff Richard Roundtree and 2 of his deputies. The mother of a teen shooting victim blames the 3 for his death. D'Angelo Burns died in the Circle K parking lot on Peach Orchard Road back in early 2020. Reports say Deputy Nick Nunes was performing CPR when Deputy Brandon Keithley hit him in the back of the head with a flashlight. Deputy Nunes ended up needing staples in his head. Sheriff Roundtree ended up disciplining both deputies, but never brought any criminal charges. But the district attorney's office did and charged Keithley with aggravated assault. He was arrested last December and is out on bond. Nunes resigned and left the area to work for another law enforcement agency. The civil lawsuit is asking for a jury trial to decide how much money, if any, the family should receive. A major global terror. Saluda High School is honoring 2 high school seniors that lost their lives in a car accident right before Christmas this past year. Jasmine and Jason were both loyal donors and donated enough to earn a red cord for their upcoming graduation. The school will be giving their parents their cords to keep. Tomorrow, the school will hold a blood drive from 8 to 3, and you're invited to come donate in their memory. And if you can't make it out to Saluda, there is another blood drive event going on. Next Saturday, there will be a double feature blood drive. All donors will get a free voucher for a free meal or free scoop of ice cream and a movie ticket at Somerville Scoops and Cheeseburger Bobby's. Also, don't forget, you can show up to Shepherd Blood Center and donate without an appointment at their offices. Happening right now, an apartment groundbreaking ceremony in downtown Augusta. This is at the corner of 12th and Green Street. The apartment complex will be called The Standard and is one of the upcoming housing complexes in the area. Later on your News 12, first at 5, Claire Allen will break down other housing options coming to the CSRA. Well, here's a live look. We'll try not to smile at this lovable guy. This is Benny, an 8-year-old rescue Labrador with a special talent for ice skating. Look at those high legs right there. Yesterday, he took out those custom skates to twirl in New York to raise money for the Animal Vision Foundation. Now, Benny has performed skating events all over the U.S., raising money for charity and helping kids with autism. He was rescued on his last day at the kill shelter in Utah. Rescued on his last day. He's out there just highly. He's got the stick out there too.
Hockey stick out.
That's a true athlete right there. I've always wanted to see my dog Stash. He's a chocolate lab out there. Try to do that on the ice. He's got those lanky legs.
I would be really interested to see how Storm handles the ice. He'd probably get really excited trying to run around and then start spinning out and not knowing what to do.
I wish we could have ice like that, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that. It's hot out there today.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about any kind of weather that would lead to any ice. We're going to be talking more like...
Thanks, Anthony. Women of color account for a mere 5% of healthcare leadership, according to a new study. And healthcare inequalities along racial lines have really been exposed during the pandemic. Natalie Brand introduces us to one of the few black women running a hospital who is also paving the way for others to follow.
So I say the more work we can do in the community, the less work that we'll be bringing up here to you.
Deneen Richmond leads her hospital with community and compassion in mind, an approach shaped by obstacles she faced as young as grade school.
We basically felt unwanted here. Our buses would pull up and there would be parents of kids throwing things at the bus, yelling nasty things as we're getting off the bus.
She remembers experiencing racism for the first time, just trying to get to her new integrated school.
No kid should have to go through that, not because of anything that you've done, but just because of the color of your skin.
Nearly 50 years later, about a mile from that same school, Richmond is now the president of Luminous Health Doctors Community Medical Center in Maryland. She's one of the few women of color in a healthcare leadership role.
Why do you think that is?
It's just, the same thing we're seeing in our communities. There's still bias, there's still racism, and so I think that impacts women of color and our ability to be recognized for the talents and strengths that we bring to the table. Good morning, everybody.
Now at the head of the table, Richmond is working to make her hospital more inclusive for patients and staff.
When you feel like someone looks like you, it makes a difference. I wanted the two of us to sit down for a little while.
She's also on a mission to pay it forward, returning to her old schools.
I would love an opportunity to just speak to the students.
To share her story about starting out as a registered nurse and working her way up.
We have to start as soon as, elementary school. Girls need to know that STEM careers are sexy and fun.
Richmond hopes a new generation will continue to expand diversity in medicine and break down inequities in healthcare. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Prince George's County, Maryland.
One of my biggest concerns.
Richmond is overseeing a building of a behavioral health center to serve residents with mental health and substance abuse needs. Well, sometimes there's only one way to describe the timing of life's big moments, unique. That's how one couple is describing the timing of their first child being born.
I'm attorney Ashanti.
My career is focused on helping the injured because I can relate to that. I don't just sympathize. I know how all it takes is a single second to change your entire life. Being an attorney isn't just a job for me. It's who I am. My name is Fatima Zaidan, and I'm an attorney at the Eichholz Law Firm. I get it. I've been there, and I'm dedicated to fighting for you.
Just into the newsroom, Anderson County Police in South Carolina say they have found the car of a missing woman in McCormick County. The sheriff's office says Alex D. Ware was last seen at the beginning of February. Her Honda was found in McCormick, but police are still searching for her. Firefighters are continuing to monitor a fertilizer plant fire in North Carolina. The blaze has been burning since Monday night. Early this morning, fire officials said overnight rain helped keep those flames down, but also creating a new challenge. The rain is keeping smoke closer to the ground, making it difficult to work through. Crews are not being kept close to the scene of the fire because of how dangerous it still is. A shortage of parts, limited production, and surging demand for both new and used cars. It's all driving consumers to pay sky-high prices for those few cars that dealerships have available. According to J.D. Power, the average price for a new car was over $45,000 last December. The prices for used cars ended the year with an average price of nearly $30,000.
It's not just microchips that we're seeing shortages of. We're seeing resin used in paint, we're seeing tire shortages, and even wiring harnesses, and on and on.
He says they've seen a rapid shift in the kind of vehicles consumers are buying, with more looking at more expensive luxury cars, trucks, SUVs, and electric vehicles. Just hours until the Winter Olympics start in Beijing, and for one couple, it's even more special this year. A meteorologist at a station in Vermont is due to have her baby tomorrow, the same day that her husband is participating in the Olympics. Preparing for a first child is hard enough, like we all know. I don't. Anthony doesn't as well. Let alone when your husband is on the other side of the world competing in his third Olympics in biathlon.
I'm definitely excited to go to China and race, but yeah, at the same time, I'm even more excited, I think, to kind of get the Olympics over with and finally go home and kind of meet the new little one.
And no matter what happens at the Olympics, the soon-to-be parents will bring home the most important title yet, baby number one. And while we're talking about the Olympics, let's take a live look over the Great Wall of China there. Everything is all lit up for the Winter Games, and we'll be keeping an eye on everything and everyone going for gold. Beautiful sight there from Beijing, Anthony.
While we head through this evening,
This terrorist had chosen to surround himself with families, including children. We made a choice to pursue a special forces raid at a much greater risk to our own people, rather than targeting him with an airstrike.
The Department of Justice had listed a $10 million reward for information leading to the ISIS leader. A massive winter storm is spreading misery all the way from the southwest to the northeast, with more than 100 million people across at least 25 states under winter weather alerts. Chris Van Cleve reports from Dallas, Texas, where all eyes are on the electrical grid.
The winter storm moving across much of the country brought snow, sleet, and power outages from Dallas to Little Rock.
We are dealing with one of the most significant icing events that we've had in the state of Texas in at least several decades.
Ice accumulations left thousands of customers in the dark in Texas after downed tree limbs took out power lines.
Deja vu, right? Last year, same thing. So we were worried that it wasn't going to come back on.
Utility crews in North Texas were called to this scene when a driver lost control and slammed into a pole.
We brought one of our spare trucks from out of the yard, put it on it to keep it up and controlled so it won't fall over.
As the storm moves through, repair crews are out in force despite frozen roads and frigid temperatures. Still, the biggest test for the power grid is yet to come. State leaders expect Friday morning to see the biggest demand possibly ever for power in Texas. That's because temperatures are going even lower with wind chill. It could feel like it's -6.
There is plenty of power available at this time, as well as plenty of power expected over the remainder of today and early tomorrow.
The brutal winter storm is also pummeling the Midwest. Parts of Illinois and Indiana are expecting the most snow, up to 18 inches. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Dallas.
Well, more than 4,000 flights have been canceled in and out of the U.S. this morning because of the weather. A tornado watch is also in place for parts of Alabama and Mississippi. Here's a live look over Grovetown.